Just about.
David, I remember way back when, in the dark ages, there was this show, The Talking Heads at the Boarding House, which no longer exists. I saw that show, I think it was the first time that the band ever came through San Francisco. And I remember just going nuts over the band. We had never seen anything like it, but everyone was saying, "Who is that guy?" And it seemed to me at the time that you weren't terribly comfortable on stage. And now here you are 7 years later or whatever it is, and you're making a movie that is about the concert. And it seems to me that there's been an awful lot of change in you as a performer, from someone who maybe didn't fall that great up on stage to being incredibly confident. Is that indeed the case?
I'm more used to it.
Only used to it?
I think so. I'm a little bit more confident. But the other day I had to walk on stage in a situation I wasn't used to. You know, no instrument or anything. And it was like starting from scratch again.
You mean nervous? And
Yeah.
Don't you enjoy performing these days?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, it certainly comes across. When I go to a Talking Heads show, I come out of it feeling really elated. And you look to me like you're really having a good time up there.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, now I'm going to ask you a couple of the same questions that I asked Jerry. Why did you decide to do what seems to be a fairly straight concert film, in the sense that no special effects, nothing like that?
It's not a very straight concert, so it doesn't need anything much else added to it.
Have you seen a lot of films, you know, that deal with rock and roll, the old ones in the past in particular?
I've seen quite a few. A lot of them I didn't see on film. A lot of them I looked at on video cassettes or on TV. Because when I wanted to see what they were like, they were no longer running in theaters. I didn't like most of them.
Did, when you actually, I take it when you were watching them, it was basically to see what you didn't want to do with...
No, I was hoping somebody had done something good. I was hoping I'd see something and go, where I could say, that's what we want. Let's find out who directed that, or let's find out who was the lighting guy on that one. And there were very few where I could say that. One of the ones I liked was Neil Young's Rust Never Sleeps. And I guess I thought that worked because there was other things going on stage besides a bunch of guys singing songs. There were these giant amps, and the roadies dressed up like Star Wars characters and whatnot. It was kind of, and those kind of elements kind of worked.
Okay, now basically, I mean, again, you have to understand, I've not seen the movie, okay, and I understand that there is this progression, and you actually wear some costumes on stage. Can you talk a little bit about where those costumes come in and how your reason for doing that progression?
I was in Japan, and I was wondering, I was having dinner with a fashion designer in Japan, and I thought, here's someone I should ask what I should wear on stage. And he said pretty simply, you should, on the theater, everything should be bigger than in real life. So I was thinking that I might wear a sort of plain suit. And so I just drew on the napkin a plain suit, but one that was about 5 times bigger than it should be. So I had a teeny little head and teeny little arms and feet sticking out. And so I thought, that's real simple. And I made it real square, or real rectangular looking, very sort of stylized. So I thought, that's what I'll do. I'll just make it big.
And it works, obviously. It comes across. I've seen one little clip. It also kind of takes off on Burning Down the House. Those the little guy in the big suit, and the white. That's kind of what it reminds me of a little bit. So basically, I came out of theater a long time ago and dance, and I love music, but one of the big disappointments for me, especially in this day and age when you can pay $30 to go see a concert with a friend, is that rock and roll really isn't theater. A lot of the popular music that we see, there may be lights, there may even be some costumes these days, but there's no, unless you get a group like the Tubes, or something like that, you don't get a theatrical presentation. And it seems to me that you're moving more and more towards that, incorporating dance, a little bit of theater, not that there's that much spoken parts in that. Are you trying to create like a total event, or does it just come out of, well, let's do this song this way?
No, I'm trying to, I guess, coordinate all the elements that are there. And I guess in a cautious way. I feel like I'm just sort of edging into that area. Trying to acknowledge that you are there when you come to a concert, you are coming to look at something. If you want to hear musicians play, the best place is usually a club, and where it's kind of a little sort of intimate. You can you get something from seeing the way the musicians interact, and so that it's theater of sorts, but it's a really much more intimate theater. But then when you get to places where you have these big proscenium stages, and they're set up like a regular theater. I mean, it is a theater that you're moving into rather than a little club. Then the audience can't see any of that anymore. And if that's all you give them, then they're not going to see anything. Because past the first 15 rows, they can't see what a glance between one musician and another. Where in a club, that kind of glance is really meaningful, and that can be really moving. So I guess it forces you to do other things, but it's a nice way to be forced to do something else. It's the kind of thing where you'd like to do it anyway.
I know that you've worked with Twyla Tharp on the Catherine Wheel and wrote some music for some of her dances, and I was just wondering if being around dancers, seeing people stage a dance performance, has any effect on what you're trying to do up there on stage and in this movie?
I suppose it has. I don't know exactly how, but I suppose it has.
Have you ever taken any dance lessons?
No.
None at all?
No. I practice at home, and I try to invent moves, and then I videotape them with my, a little home video thing. And when I get something I like, then I turn on the recorder and record about a minute of it. So I collect sort of a library of what I think are interesting moves. And it's sort of disturbing to look at them. It's like hearing your voice on tape for the first time. It's really disturbing to see how you look, and that what your body looks like is not how you feel it looks like. if you hold your arm up at what you think is a right angle. And you may look at it and think it's a right angle, and it may feel to your muscles like it's a right angle, but it might not look like it to the camera.
Yeah, I know. The first time I ever saw myself on TV, I discovered that there was nothing more, humility. I mean, you learn it the very first time.
It takes a while to get over it, and then you can really learn to use the thing as a tool.
I think that you, for a non-dancer, you're actually like really conscious of how your body moves and what you're doing up there on stage. I suppose it's because you're in front of all those people and you get conscious of the fact they're all watching you move around up there.
I guess so. I don't think I'm that good at it, but I think I try to invent things that I haven't seen before.
Oh, you ought to turn them over to a choreographer or something like that and see what happens. The David Byrne self-taught school of motion or something. A lot of rock and roll movies have bombed. God only knows why. In the old days it was because they couldn't find theaters to be put in, or the sound wasn't good enough, or maybe they weren't directed very well. What do you think outright, let's be upfront about this. How many tickets do you think you can sell this thing? Do you think it has a real market? Do you think you can get it across like a movie is what I'm really trying to say?
I think so. I could be fooling myself, and I guess we all could, us and Jonathan and everybody that's been involved in it. But I think it could, because partly because the show is different, because there is something to watch, and there is Jonathan, the way he has dealt with the performance, he really deals with us as a collection of characters, which is really one of his strong points in his films. And so it comes across as a couple of things, as a show and then as a group of characters that go through something and come out sort of relieved and ecstatic at the other end. And so in a sense it even has a story. And I think most concerts don't have that, except ones where Gimme Shelter, where the story was kind of forced on them by a horrible event.
That's very true. I'm amazed that would you be pleased if this became sort of like the Rocky Horror Picture Show, where it had this cult following of people who just have to go see this once a month, that sort of thing? Or are you aiming for something different with this one?
I guess we hope that it appeals to a pretty wide variety of people, not just a rock and roll audience. That people will like it who have never heard of the band, but like it as a film. They may not even like the music, but they might like it as a film. We figured that would be doing something. And beyond that, I don't know what happens to it.
Time will definitely tell. How did you approach this differently in your thought process of even wanting to do it and then planning it all through? How was making this film different from making one of your videos for a song?
There's some similarities in that you can, although this is sort of a given performance and you can't really script it out too much, it does follow. I mean, there are certain movements I try to do at the same place every night, and so the cameraman can kind of work out a storyboard the way one would in a video, and so those kind of things aren't so dissimilar. But I guess there's a lot of differences too. We decided in advance not to throw in a lot of outside elements. And in a video, I guess you're pretty open. You can put in anything you can think of that you can afford. And with this, we could only put in what the camera can see on the stage.
You can afford a film like this probably costs a lot more than a video, although
Oh, yeah.
videos
Yeah.
can cost a lot of money
Uh-huh.
these days, you know. The band, as I understand it, mostly financed this. Do you feel like you were going out on a limb, or do you just see money as allowing you to do what you want to do?
It's going out on a limb a little bit, but when you figure out all the places things like this can be sold to other countries, and television in various forms, and video cassettes, and all those sort of things that it can be sold to after it has a life as a film. If you work within a sort of reasonable budget, it's almost hard to lose money if you make something decent. Maybe that's kind of naive to say that, but that's the way we felt anyway.
Again, time will tell.
Uh-huh.
You're saying, look, great.
Sounds great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Great film. Well, show's
Rowan?
yeah, speed.
I take it that this movie is not going to be something that's going to replace the Talking Heads in concert in any way, shape, or form.
No, although the next time we perform live, I suppose it has to be completely different. You sort of put making a film of this tour sort of says, okay, that's the end of doing it that way. Now you have to come up with something new next time you come out.
So the heat's on, the pressure's
Uh-huh.
on.
Might be a while before we think of that, too.
Do you mind me asking, you were saying that, well, tonight is, after all, the world premiere, and I want to do this for the camera. Okay, David. Have you ever shown this to an audience before?
No, we've shown it to friends and friends of friends, and or invited them to screenings while we were working on it. But this is the first time the public's been invited, so it's kind of terrifying. I sit in the back and see how we do.
It's not really like it's a comedy where you have to worry whether or not they get the jokes or they're going to laugh at the right places.
There are funny parts, though. There are sort of parts where I always laugh. And it'll be interesting to see if a public audience laughs at the same places.
Yeah, of course, when you're playing live, you get feedback. It's not like a movie where you just like suddenly put it out for the first time. I mean, you've been playing in front of the public
Uh-huh.
for quite a while. I was reading an article in the pink section, as we call it, and I can't remember if it was you or Jonathan who said that you were really sort of going for this trance state that you wanted people to get into in the movie or in watching the movie. Could you elaborate a little bit on that?
Is that something he said?
Yeah. Yeah, he said the reason that they didn't. He was talking about it in the context of when you go to a show, rock show, you sit there and you kind of get carried away and you kind of get into a trance state, and as opposed to, like, saying, doing a narrative movie, he was hoping that people would sort of recreate that same feeling or that same experience that they get when they go to a concert.
Oh, I think I know what he means now. Yeah, all the constant rhythm and all that. Yeah, you kind of gets you mesmerized and gets your blood going, so that you're, I guess, sort of emotionally vulnerable. A member of the audience is, which is a nice place to be if you let yourself get into that condition, which people do at concerts quite a lot. I guess that's why they pay to go. But it doesn't happen in movies that much. I guess in movies you can get mesmerized visually with whatever rockets and shootouts and things like that. That can get you going. But that doesn't go on for length of a movie.
I was really interested. So Jonathan also said something to the effect that he really hopes that, although this is a confining theater and everyone's seated, that he hopes that everyone gets a chance to just basically get up and dance. Would you be happy if they did that too?
I guess so. It's difficult to say. I mean, if people stand up and dance, what's the people behind them going to say? Unless they're up already. It's like the lady with the big hat.
Yeah, right. Which always
You
is.
can't complain about ladies wearing big hats, but yeah, it's kind of annoying when they sit in front of you in a theater.
Besides, this is a movie to be watched.
Uh-huh.
That's the idea. Well, we'll see what happens. I also, Jonathan, the Civil Wars, this project that I understand that you've been working on. I've seen a lot about this go by in the press, and it seems like it's always changing, and so I'm not quite sure what is going on with it. So maybe you could just sort of tell me, since you seem to be closer to the source.
Oh, okay. This theater director, Robert Wilson, had planned to do a really long, sort of epic theater piece in L.A. for the Olympic Arts Festival. And he was doing segments, like 2-hour segments in about 5 or 6 different countries, and then hoping to put them all together and make like an 8-hour presentation in L.A. Well, he did most of the segments in the other countries. And at the present time, I'm helping him do one in Minneapolis. But the money to do it in L.A. fell through. So that's not happening. But maybe that'll get done somewhere else. But the other parts still exist. And the bit I've been involved in, the knee plays, that it looks like might tour on its own. In, I think Boston and Philadelphia might take it, in London and Madrid and Barcelona, and a bunch of places seem interested.
Let's talk a little bit. I'm sure that nobody out there knows
Uh-huh.
what the hell you're talking about.
Oh, the director calls them knee plays because they work like joints, and they join their little vignettes, I guess, that originally were meant to run in between the segments from the other countries. So if you can follow all that, they also sort of work on their own as a series of about a dozen or 13 little vignettes that run. Oh, they have feature length.
So it's like musical compositions that are of varying.
Yeah, they're all about the song length, about 4 or 5 or 6 minutes long, and then there's a little tableau on the stage that gets enacted during each thing.
So it really is opera.
Yeah, kind of, although there isn't really singing. I'm sort of telling stories instead of singing.
Okay, I know what knee plays is. I understand that it's also a totally different music style than you've ever done before.
Yeah, I wrote it for a brass band, so it doesn't sound anything like Talking Heads. But it worked out real nice. I just rehearsed with the band in the theater yesterday, and they sounded great. I was real happy.
Oh, where did you, did you actually like arrange the brass and all that kind of stuff too?
Well, sort of. I played it all on keyboards, and then someone else wrote out the sheet music from that. So it wasn't, I went about it in a kind of roundabout way. But it ended up sounding more or less as I had hoped it would.
Now you say this might be in Minneapolis. Is it going to surface on record or anything like that, or is it strictly live?
Yeah, I guess we could make a record out of it. But it'd be like a soundtrack record. It's not really a pop record.
David Byrne does opera. I love it. That's great. I also understand. Do you think we've really explained what Civil Wars is to people out there? I mean, someone who's never heard of it. Do you think we've really covered that?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
I think the more you go into it, the more confusing it gets.
So we'll just wait until we can go watch it and then be really confused.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I understand that you're working on some sort of a book. Is that with some sort of graffiti stuff? Is that still happening?
Oh yeah, I've been working with a guy in New York who'd like to do what would you call it? A coupling of works by various artists that are inspired by Talking Heads lyrics. It's still in the rough stages, but it sounds pretty exciting.
And I understand it's with graffiti artists too.
Some,
So it's just a wide range.
yeah, it's a wide range of people that are involved in it.
You always are coming up with solo projects. You've always got your finger in every pie that one can possibly imagine. So what don't we know about? What's the next plum you're going to pull out?
I don't like to talk about it until it seems like it's really going to happen.
I don't want to scotch the deal.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
I know how that is. I understand that you're working on some sort of a book about the Talking Heads a little bit. Jerry did tell me some things, but I think if MTV uses it, they're going to want you saying some things too. So you can just tell us what the plans for the band are, what's coming up next.
That's the same kind of thing. I'm not. We're thinking about doing something very different than what we've done before. And that doesn't tell you much at all. I guess it'd be a record in there somewhere, but it might not start out as a record.
So basically, we're just going to have to wait and see.
Yeah, wait a little while longer.
Okay. After all, you did just finish a movie.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Okay, now is there... back to the movie, okay? What were you trying to say by making a movie? I mean, just like, why did you want to do it?
I guess I thought that the show was kind of cinematic. We tried to use the whole stage, and the shape of most of the stages we played in is the same, or very close to the same proportion as a movie screen. So when the opportunity came and Jonathan approached us about filming it, it seemed pretty natural to just move it from one to the other.
I'm surprised that he approached you first. I would think that because so many members of the band are so visual, have worked in the visual arts, that you would have, and you know, videos all around, and I know you've done some video things, that you would have this little thing in the back of your head that said, gee, let's make a movie.
Yeah, I had been thinking about it, but I wanted to, if it happened, I wanted to do it with someone who had made movies before, since it involves such a big crew and so many things like that.
So he came knocking at the door.
Uh-huh.
Is there make a non-music movie at some point?
I suppose so. I mean, like a movie with a story?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it depends on how it looks. If it looks nice, yeah.
So the visual comes first for you instead of the story?
Or it's at least as important.Maybe 60-40, leaning towards the visual.
See, I'm a writer, I'm just here.
Uh-huh.
What can I say? Would you like, David, one last question. Is there anything that you want to say about the movie that I've overlooked?
That always sounds like where I'm supposed to tell you my an editorial about the U.S. policies in Central America or something. I don't want to get into that.
Really? No, it's just that usually some people really want to make a point about something that they're doing, and I just, you know, I mean, here you got an opportunity to talk to, what is it, 20 million people?
No,
I'm
it's
scaring them.
yeah, it seems like such a shock to switch from one subject to something else. No, I don't want to talk about any politics or anything like that.
And nothing more about the movie then. Are we done? Think we're
Uh-uh.
done?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I don't walk away without my microphone. With my microphone. Dave?
It has a nice beginning and a nice ending.
Would you ever go see the group live?
I don't know, the film will do.
What'd you think of the crowd's reaction?
Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing.
Is it what you expected at all?
It was better than I expected. I really didn't expect the crowd to dance in the aisles.
Sorry, I was putting the devil sign right here.
Jerry, I'm gonna get this right under your nose, okay? It's really loud in here.
Okay.
Don't dirty my mic.
Yes.
So what do you think of the film?
Well, having seen it a lot, it looked just the same. No, I thought it was great to see all those people get up and dance. That's what we always hoped it would do. We felt kind of constrained that we didn't get up and dance ourselves, but we applauded a lot. We had a good time.
Was that the kind of reaction you expected?
Actually, yes. But it was maybe a little, expected but also hoped for, so it was great.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Did you feel nervous?
Yeah, no, I think it was wonderful.
First of all, what did you think of the film?